have the book, so I brought mine too, just in case.
Well, the book is just out, right?
Yeah, it's out today, literally today, which is probably the stupidest time to release a book.
Because
it's right before July 1st.
Yeah.
Everyone's away. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? No one's running to bookstores. They're all trying to get to the Hamptons.
Right.
It's a very dumb time to release a book.
But this is summer reading.
Yes, but the summer is July 4th.
July 4th, so
you're going to miss this.
You're not going to get it.
This will be midsummer reading.
Right.
It'll be,
Well, this book is so outrageous, so hilarious. There's so many cringe laughs every page. And I was actually just saying, I can't imagine another person writing this book.
Well, you reach a certain point where you just say, I'm going to put down what I want to say.
Yeah.
And laugh about it. And America is so uptight and so politically correct now. And the book is everything but that.
Well, yeah, it's a little far.
Yeah, well, that's good.
It's a little far from
political.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, it's good.
Yeah, you can't even say Indian without saying dot or feather. I mean, everybody gets.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, very rarely with a book have I heard they were considering lawsuits before the book came out.
Is that great?
Yeah.
And I spent all morning trying to find a Jerry Mahoney puppet because that Jerry Mahoney was an old, for those of you that are not 106, he was an old puppet that wore like plaid clothes, you know. Mm-hmm. And when Kristen Stewart and I go into court, and I'm going to ask her where she claimed she did not touch the balls of the director, I want an anatomically correct puppet that she could please touch Jerry Mahoney. And then I'm going to get the director up to do it.
So none of these things ever bother you if somebody has a problem with one of your jokes?
First of all, who are the jokes about? They are about people that make, $500 million over their lifetime? They're making $20 million a movie. They're getting... They're in the public eye, and their silly jokes and their funny jokes and comics, as you know, my darling, are put on earth to make you laugh.
Right.
And if you're going to take it seriously, then you're first of all, you're a woman calling yourself an actor. So already, already you're not my group.
Right.
You're not my group. You take it seriously. Kristen Stewart. Who is Kristen Stewart? She plays either a vampire or she does a lot of sucking. So what is a vampire or Dracula thing? I don't know what she does.
Yeah, it's Twilight, I think.
Twilight, yeah. Which is what they call apparently her vagina. That she got upset.
I wonder why.
Well, I don't know whoever read the book to her. Obviously. So stupid.
Right. So again, it's Diary of a Mad Diva, and I just want to point out every page is this way. Every day, it's a diary throughout her life, and every day she's just throwing elbows and chucking people down the steps. It's just so funny, but it is like a different universe. No one's taking this as journalism.
No one takes this as journalism.
Yeah.
No, it's there to be funny.
Right.
And people, I didn't know if it's funny or you think it's funny, and you're writing it and you're laughing. And I have my friend Larry Ambrose that I read everything to, and we bounce together and all that. And we'll be laughing on the phone about things. And then it's a year later, and you think, was it funny at the moment? And I brought it down to QVC, and I had people, because I have my jewelry line down there. And these girls are not funny. They're very serious, and they're artists and, designers. And they began to read it out loud, and they began to laugh. And I thought, thank you, God, it's funny. Well, all you want to do is make people laugh.
Yeah, and I was talking to different comedians about you, very edgy, young comedians, and everyone says that you are the one most out. On the edge. I don't know whether that gets back to you, but
it doesn't. That makes you so happy.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's close.
No, I think, but it's also age.
Yeah,
I could say anything. What are they going to do to me? Well, you're going to fire me? Get online, as Donald Trump says. Donald Trump is a good friend of mine, very smart. Don't ever let anyone think he's a fool. I've done Celebrity Apprentice, smart. And one time, somebody was going to sue me, and he said, when I say they want to sue me, get on the line.
Right.
And I love that attitude. Get on. You can say what you want at this age. And comedians, we are there to say the emperor has no clothes. You're not allowed to say anything. Everything is taken. Oh my God! And I know you'll be. Oh, you call me a nigger? Ah, yeah, and I'm a kike. So you call me a kike. I'll call you a nigger. Now let's have lunch. Everybody, it's so stupid. Everybody is something. You know what I mean? Everybody's a wop or a ching. I mean, you're going to bleep all the time. Everybody is something.
Yeah. By the way, Joan, we're not going to bleep out any of it.
Okay, that's even better. Yeah. Dumb Polak, I once did a Polish joke, and this goes back about 20 years ago, at the Westbury music tent.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what the Polish joke was. It was something silly. The Polish parade is great because they're supposed to march on Fifth Avenue. They never can find it. Right. So it's great when you... And it was a very minor joke. So they came to throw garbage at me. They didn't... I didn't do any Polish jokes that night. I did every other thing. I didn't do Polish jokes. At the end, they asked to take my picture with me. And I thought, if you're that upset that you brought garbage... Now you want to take a picture. Make up your mind which side you on. It's just stupid.
It is dumb. But you seem to be the only one today who refuses the public apology.
Will not apologize.
Celebrities do it.
Who?
Gary Oldman.
Yes.
Is the latest.
Yeah. Well, but he should apologize. He should apologize for being to say that Mel Gibson, and again, the stupidity. Well, Mel was drunk, so that's why he hates Jews. In Vino Veritas, you moron, figure that one out. I mean, that's not, I thought what he said was dumb because his rationale was dumb.
Right.
You don't apologize. We make a joke, you don't like, something, you have to pay to come in and see me. Bill Cosby once said to me years ago, if you make 0.1% of the population of the world laugh, you'll fill stadiums. So don't worry about the rest. And I thought, how smart of Bill.
Is that true, though? Does it not bother you when people are upset with you?
It doesn't bother me. As Harry Truman, who I slept with him. He didn't just play the minute waltz. It was... I had them all.
Yeah.
FDR, very kinky.
Yeah.
You be the nurse, I'll be the crippled boy. I mean, he always said games. What was the question?
I swear to God, I have no idea right now. But the point is, so many of these guys go out and apologize. Kimmel has done it over.
Why?
Yeah.
When comedians are there to make you laugh.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. And if the joke didn't work, the joke didn't work. I told a story which I'd forgotten, which was in the New York Post this weekend. Mary Tyler Moore, great in her time, but not funny. She was the reactor.
Right.
She was the react. Yeah. She would react to what they did. Didn't talk to me for 21 years. Literally, Deborah Norville was having a baby shower, and she said, I will not go if Joan Rivers is there. I never even met this girl, So anyhow, I finally see her at some cancer benefit 2 years ago. I grabbed her, I said, why don't you talk to me? We're both old ladies now. We're both eating scrambled eggs. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is reminding us who we are. What? She said, you made a joke about me on the Carson show. That's already 24 years ago. Right. And you said I look like the Joker. And I said, A, it was a terrible joke. And B, you had nothing else to think about for 20-odd years? You're holding a grudge? How about writing to your congressman about something? You know what I mean?
Right.
Held a grudge for all these years. That'll show Joan Rivers.
Right. And you're right. That joke probably went on. Everyone laughed or didn't laugh, and then forgot about it and put it in the past.
Of course you forgot it.
Yeah.
She's forgotten. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? She's not. You better keep your jokes current.
Right.
Even Adele, God bless her, and I love it. Oh, she should never lose a pound. It is. And she got mad at me because I said her big hit was "Rolling in the Deep Fried Chicken," and you know, you take it out of your act as it goes.
Yeah.
And you wait for something new to happen. God bless the 2 new Kardashians now.
Yeah.
That are going commando. Oh, you go, thank you, God. You know that we got them now.
Now, it's so funny that you would say you keep the act fresh because a lot of people don't. A lot of people that were your peers are doing, you know.
Oh, you can't. I don't change my act.
Yeah.
I just constantly add new stuff. And the biggest compliment is when a friend comes and says, my God, there's so much new stuff in it. And you go, that's great. Because every night I try to feed new jokes and new things. I'm doing a whole thing about the homeless now, that there are no gay homeless. And I love it. Well, there are. Think about it, how great the boxes would look. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
it would be great.
Yeah.
This is a box. Yes. Yes. I also have a box in the Hamptons. I have a box. There are no gays.
Yeah.
Kills me.
And that when you get a new piece like that, you love it. It is
And
exciting.
you love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the one you can't wait to get to.
Right.
So my act, if you're going to only see part of it, see the beginning. Because the beginning I come out with all the new stuff. And some works, some doesn't work, but all the stuff I want to talk about. And then, because they have paid, I try to give them, like the last half, I give them things I know will work for them and make them happy. And a big shock. Always try to do a shock at the end. I end now with Whitney Houston's last words.
Which were?
And I do it with water.
Now, what is it that you love going to those points? Because you got the laugh, but the first before you get the laugh.
I love having fun with the audience, and you all having a sharp good time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're all laughing at things you almost didn't know you could laugh at. I always think, this is what I would say if we were sitting together in my house and we all had a glass of wine. Mm-hmm. And that's the fun of the evenings. And that's the fun, I think, of my act. And the book, Diary of a Mad Diva.
Diary of a Mad Diva, which, again, page for page is filled with this kind of humor. Very, very funny, very edgy. And I think that some of it, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it's dealing with fear, that we have fears of death, we have fears of not belonging. Yeah.
Everybody's scared. Everyone's scared about death. You know what I mean? And at this age, I don't even lie down because if I fall asleep on a sofa, I always find Melissa has 6 friends that are carrying me out. And it's like, yeah, everybody's got all these fears. Your fear of getting older, your fear of being alone, your fear of this, your fear of that. We're all worried about our looks. You know, it's all on and on and on. And it's all done. So laugh at it.
Right. It's all fear of fitting in, the social anxiety.
It's all. I do a lot. I'm very conscious of the Holocaust, that it is being forgotten, to the point where I have a little tattoo, a number on my arm. Just to have my grandson remember that there was a Holocaust. I have the tattoo, a number on my arm. So I do, of course, Holocaust jokes, which people get so upset. But that's a way of reminding the audience it happened. You know, and I did go to Auschwitz, and they do have a bake shop there. They have a bake shop. And I put my head in, and I said, smells good, who's in the oven? And
now, again, you hear...
and that's it. Yeah, and it's in the book.
It's in the book. You love the book. You love...
I love the book because I just had a good time with the book.
Yeah.
And I must say, my editor... never called and said you can't say that. I don't think she read it. If you want the fucking truth, I don't think the woman ever read the book, because you would send the pages and you'd get back, okay, keep going, and you go, wait, is then you weren't upset about the Helen Keller reference? You weren't upset about that? No, keep going.
And your maid, your Asian maid?
My illegal. I love illegals, and I should have dedicated the book to illegals. Oh, because they can't answer back. Comes from, there's no such thing. It's a holiday. Excuse me? The holiday is my hand is coming off from calling, immigration. You illegals and child labor, I really make a case for it in this book. God bless, little fingers can set little stones.
Keep them busy. Keep them out of trouble.
Keep them out of trouble.
Yeah.
You never hear Angelina's brood is in trouble. They're downstairs sewing and carrying on. This is one of her kids' jackets.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice work. That's wonderful work. So you don't mind when people get upset. Now, recently, I know Jerry Lewis.
Look who's back from the dead. I saw him. What is the thing? The zombie program. Walking
Dead.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a small part on that.
Right.
Jerry Lewis.
Right.
Who I got angry at years ago. I did his telethon, and in my own way, I do a lot of, quiet stuff. And I did his telethon, and he was standing there with a child next to him saying, "This kid is going to die." And I said, "I will never do this telethon again. You do not say in front of a little boy who's going to die, this child is going to die. Who are you? You unfunny, lucky, stupid asshole." So he took umbrage. And I had forgotten, because I block a lot of stuff out. He had actually threatened to have people come and beat me up.
Yeah, he did.
And I was still married at the time. My husband was still alive at the time. And we said, "John, never talk about him again. I don't want to be beaten. I don't want my knees broken over Jerry Lewis." And nothing, and it all went away and gone. I've never discussed him. He's never discussed me, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And suddenly somebody interviewed him.
Well,
Why?
it was on Sirius, and out of nowhere, he actually just brought it up that he sent you a letter that he would have guys from Chicago come and
he talks
hurt you.
about it.
Yeah.
Do you understand you could be arrested for that?
Yeah.
That is a threat? I mean, that's a real threat.
It's a real threat.
That was a real threat. We hired guards, my husband and I. It was like a real serious thing. And that we didn't take him to court and do all that, But why this moron brought... But he must be slipping somewhere, because you wouldn't bring up that you threatened somebody's life to beat them up or kill them.
But at the time, you took it very seriously.
You're damn. At the time, he did know people, I'm sure, in Vegas. Everybody knew people in Vegas. Those were the good days.
Yeah.
If you're Jewish, I'm going to have my accountant beat your accountant up. I mean, it was all...
So you have had those things come up that you do take seriously. They're not things that you can just...
Well, very few people have threatened to have the mafia. And if they do, I'll shut up. Well, I'm going to fight with Kanye West. If he's... you shut the fuck up, I'll shut the fuck up. My last words are not going to be, "But I was only kidding." You're not happy? You want me to shut up? I'll shut up. Fine.
So this is stuff that does happen from time to time.
Very, 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 very rarely. I mean, as I said, with Jerry Lewis, it's probably the last threat I ever got. And that was so long ago. And the French find him funny. I find that fascinating. But maybe they don't get close to him because nobody wears deodorant over there. So, it's like...
But, he was with Dean, so...
And they were... I've seen... clips of them.
Yeah.
And they were very funny together.
They were amazing
together. Yeah, but you don't want to know private lives. You don't want to know you've also heard, allegedly, he's been nasty to people. You go on the road, and I always ask all the limo drivers as you get into the limo in New Orleans or in Seattle, who's the nicest person you've had in the limo? Who cares? And they tell me, "Oh, so-and-so, and there was so..." Oh, very interesting. And who was the least... Here comes the question. And who is the least nice to you? And the same names come up over and over. And his name for a long time came up a lot. Frank Sinatra Jr. came up a lot. Those are in different days. It was he's made to become a very nice guy now. I don't know. Certain Tara Banks comes up a lot. Certain names come up a lot that they're not. It's been. My husband was English, and he used to say you can only yell at your peers. You can only yell at yourself. You go fuck yourself. Yeah, well, you go fuck yourself. Even playing field.
Right.
You don't tell the wardrobe lady to go to hell. She needs the job. And those are the ones. So those are the ones I always ask. It's like the waiter. Who didn't give you a good tip?
Yeah.
Then you write it down. Yeah.
Because it's like Downton Abbey. I mean, they see everything. They know what's happening.
They know what's happening.
Just because they don't say.
But it's always interesting to know. I was at Downton Abbey, and Maggie Smith is lovely. Shirley MacLaine, little problem there. That's, because I ask them, so who was nice? Who was and you get it out of them. You go, bingo, thank you, God. Oh, here's something I can call my friends about immediately. You call me and say, who the gossip. I love gossip.
Well, I thought something that was one of the most amazing nights I've seen on TV recently is when you came back to the Tonight Show.
That was great.
Jimmy Fallon, after how many years?
I was banned from the show, I think it was 27 years.
27 years.
And my agent begged. My career's been up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Johnny banned me, which was already a mistake, but he was very angry I left. And I really never say this. I think it was because I was a woman. Everybody else left, and Cosby left, and Carlin left, and Billy Crystal left, and David Brennan. Nobody wasn't angry at anybody. I left, a wall came down. And I think because he really liked me the best. You begin to think why. Okay, so I was banned from the show. Then he leaves, and Leno comes on. Nobody cares. Half your audience here today wasn't even born when that took place. Right. Nobody cares, for God's sakes. And they wouldn't bring me on the show. Leno decided not to use me. And my agent would call maybe every 2 years and say, people commit murder and they're out in 20 years. What is it? Would not use me. So the comics all knew about this. And then when Jimmy got the show, he called me the first day he got the show and said, will you come on opening night? First night. And let's break it. And I thought, how darling and sweet and sensitive. And I was look at this, so emotional. And it turns out it was February 17th. And my agent told me, which was the first night I'd ever been on Carson 51 years ago. And Jimmy was, how about that?
Yeah.
And the car made a mistake. Look at this, here I go. And drove to the wrong entrance, which was the right entrance at the time. 51 years ago. And it killed me. So I said, I'm not going to get upset. It's not my night. It's his night. Just go on and do it. And I did the whole thing. Then I got back in the car. And I was going down to QVC. Buck's a buck. Buy the jacket. And I got in the car. I started to cry. I thought, oh, my God. It was so emotional. Big emotional.
Yeah.
And I had no one to share it with because all the men my age are dead. My vagina is so dry. Lawrence of Arabia tried to ride a camel through it last night. But let's not go with personal problems.
Yeah.
Ask me anything.
But it was wonderful to see you back on that show.
Yeah, it was great.
And I think one of the things that I love about you, and I think Jimmy has this too, is that kind of stuff matters to him. I think a lot of people today, that kind of show business love isn't there.
Yeah.
It
was so meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to, it was his night.
Right.
It's not the night to say to the press, and this is me back. But I got out afterwards, and then it was lovely. Then it was lovely when they came back. Like a week later, they started picking up on it, and that was great.
And you think the thing with Johnny is because he liked you so much that broke his heart?
There's no other. What he should have done, and he lied. I called him. You don't know me that well. Mm-hmm. I have always tried to play it as straight, even my humor, straight as you can do it. When I knew I was leaving the show, my first call was to Johnny Carson, and he hung up. And then I called back, and he lived at that time in a house in Malibu that was like all glass, kind of one. And his wife said, Alexa answered the second time. I said, let me speak to Johnny. It's Joan. She said, I don't know if he's here. I said, it's one-room house. He's there. Yeah. Look around. Just move your head. And what he should have done, because I went to Fox, and the Fox show didn't work, and my husband committed suicide, and I was fired, and all that stuff. He should have, the day my Fox show went off the air, he should have had me on and said to me, where have you been? Right. It would have been so smart and funny. And, would see me in a restaurant 6 years later and would walk past and wouldn't say hello. And you'd go, what did I do? What did I do that was so terrible?
But see, I think that's the kind of way people feel with an ex. You know what I mean? Like when there's...
That's very smart. An ex.
Yeah. When there's that kind of... And he felt like, I brought you in, I adore this girl, and I'm proving. And then when he kind of lost a little control and you went out on your own, it just...
But it was 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years later, everybody else... Cosby said hello, did 6 shots, and went and got his own show.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody... moved on.
Sure.
It wouldn't be that you wouldn't keep going on the show.
Yeah.
But something clicked in his head. That was it. That it was personal. Something personal I did to him.
But
Maybe so sad.
But that's one thing for that to happen between you and Johnny. But Jay has nothing with you. Nor was he even close with Johnny.
No, and he should have worried more about getting funnier jokes.
Right.
I know he lasted all those years, and I guess the Midwest really enjoyed him because I never sat down at a dinner table and had people say, "Oh God, do you know what Leno said last night?" So he was too Middle America for me, but obviously not from Middle America. Who am I to talk?
Right.
That's he obviously did something very right.
But, your career, when we go back to Carson...
Up and down.
Up and down, up and down. But you just keep coming. You just don't stop. You're like that prize fighter that no matter what happens, like the Rocky story, he's just coming back for more and more.
Because I love the business. I love what can be nice? You think of something funny, and you say it, and people laugh. And then you get a check. This is some way to make a living. I love every aspect of the business. I love editing. I love set designing. I love writing. So I don't care where I will be in a car. I was in a car the other night. I work out in a little club, called the West Bank. Yeah. Here in New York, 125 people. It's fabulous. And I was coming back from there, and they were filming a movie in Circle. What is the Columbus Circle? Columbus Circle. I stopped the car and got out and looked. I'm still a fan. Also, I wanted to get to the Craftswagen because a nighttime shoot always has a great Craftswagen. Yeah. Just look like you're an extra, and you can get hamburger.
But it's just like when you were a kid. It still means the same.
Exactly the same excitement. Exactly the same. I go to see every Broadway show there is, and I go backstage and say hello, and you go back, it's like someone's let you in the temple. It's so exciting that you're backstage at Barnum. They're letting you in. I'm still hysterical over it, yeah.
And that's everything you wanted as a kid.
Everything my eyes opened, and that's where I wanted to go.
And then when you started doing stand-up and the people that were your peers, to me, the most amazing people that ever walked out on stage.
Well, it was the 60s. In first of all, Lenny Bruce was we were all on the main street in the Village, a place called the Bitter End, and there was George Carlin, and there was Bill Cosby, and there was David Brenner, and there was Chris Rock was just starting, Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Oh my God! I mean, we were all walking around, Bobby Dylan with a scarf and the wind. I mean, just madness. What was going on at that time? And across the street was Lenny Bruce, and they would let us all in to see him, and it was just a magical time for all of us because you knew how brilliant comedy could be. There was like a God there to say, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be.
Well, it was like such a changing time because You kind of went
Woody
from the,
was there too.
Woody Allen was there.
Cavett, we were all down there.
Dick Cavett was down there, and
Rodney. I can't interrupt you.
Rodney,
everyone was down there. Yeah, we were all.
David Steinberg. But at that point, comedy had just suddenly changed. Everybody was changing at the same time.
And you suddenly were talking about your life.
Right.
And you would, Woody, was this little nebbisher guy. And brilliant. Where before you had to kind of look a little sharper. Right. Hey, a couple of cuffs going there. That it was a big change over in comedy. And I was able to stand up there and talk about having an affair with a married professor, which was shocking at the time. And the joke was, I had an affair with my professor. It didn't work out because while he was engaged to me, his wife became pregnant. And in those days, you would hear like, what?
Yeah.
What did she say? Also, it was also when Barbara Streisand was down there. Yeah. Urf, urf, urf. But Carly Simon, it was an amazing time.
And at the time, did you realize that this is all happening, or you just working and it seemed normal?
No, it just seemed normal. Yeah. And the only thing was, we were all, in those days, nobody stole from each other. There was a whole new band that we all kind of respected each other and liked each other. No, you didn't realize comedy was changing. It's just, we were just funny in our own way to our own selves.
Yeah. Stunning time, though.
Oh, George Carlin. I mean, Pryor. They wanted to do me, and they did me, Life magazine, which is not even, wanted to do me as like comedian of the 70s or something. And stupid. I would never do this now. I said, no, you moron. No, you should do Richard Pryor. He's better. I know. Well, stupid. And young and stupid. And I took them all down to see Richard Pryor in the Village. And Life magazine only hired handsome wasp men. They were 106 feet tall, blonde, all went to Yale. And I brought this whole group down with me to see Richard Pryor, who is doing a discussion on how he had VD and went into a free clinic, and the nurse didn't want to give him the shot. I don't know. And I never saw 6 wasps freeze like statues and walk out backwards, But that's what you were talking about. They were talking about things that were never discussed.
And a lot of that came from Lenny Bruce.
All came from Lenny Bruce. So nobody has touched him. First of all, handsome, sexy, smart, and dealing with subjects. All you kept saying was, yeah, I thought of that. Yeah, that's right. You couldn't touch him. He was so brilliant. So brilliant and so sad. So, ended up on drugs, and they took away his card and he couldn't work. It was a terribly bad ending.
Yeah, I think and I don't even think enough has been written about that area and that little neighborhood and what changed there. Cosby alone
started the whole thing. First black man not to say I'm black. Yeah. Just to say I'm funny.
Yeah.
And hysterically funny. So together. Some people, they have to evolve. Cosby, I think, his learning was got on the train in Philadelphia and got off in New York. He learned what to do.
Something happened.
Something happened there because he arrived in New York ready. He was Cos already.
And I don't think that we could even measure in the civil rights, movement what it meant to have that guy show up in your living room, make you laugh, without race coming into it.
Without race coming. There was another one. Cambridge, Godfrey Cambridge, who died very young, who was another just hilariously funny black man.
Yeah.
And they were coming up and just funny. You didn't have to do, I be black man, hear my jokes.
Right.
He just funny.
Yeah.
And Cosby went to college. He was a college guy talking to college graduates. I mean, it was a whole amazing moment. And
you and Lily doing material.
Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Brilliant from the beginning, she had it all together. And doing material that people didn't expect you to do.
Yeah.
And Lily did a thing about sitting a corpse up and making it into a puppet. And half the audience went into shock.
Right.
And half the audience said, this is hilariously funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that so much of your material was so edgy then. But overall, I think you're even more today.
But
you know?
I played my first record
Yeah.
for my daughter, and I said, this put people into shock in 1966.
Yeah.
Into shock, Melissa. And we're going, is that sweet? Is that sweet?
Right.
Oh, I talk about my best friend, Mr. Phyllis, and he was my bridesmaid and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And to call a gay man Mr. Phyllis, they couldn't get it. It sounds so dumb now. And so I always think that I was always on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
But what the edge was in those days is not like the edge now. Now
Right.
the edge is really the edge. You know, and they say I'm mean. I always say on a scale of 1 to Osama bin Laden, how mean am I?
Because it never feels mean to you. It's always
It's not.
playful.
It's silly and it's funny. And if you're a celebrity, get ready to be laughed at. Mm-hmm. And if you're not, Cher is smart. Cher, when I take her out of the act, gets angry.
Right.
You know how brilliant that is?
Yeah.
What's the matter? I'm not funny enough anymore. She calls me up. Come
Yeah.
on, put me back in. Put me back in. and because that means when you do a joke about a celebrity, you're acknowledging that everyone in the audience knows who they are. That's and has a mental picture. So that means look where you are. You know, if I say Beyonce, we know what Beyonce looks like. You're not going to say, and Solange, woo, but that's, oh, poor Solange. She's going to be best friends now with Shanae. What's her name, Shania?
Amanda Bynes.
Well, Amanda Bynes. Who's Amanda Bynes' fiancé?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia
Shia
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf, yeah.
What kind of stupid name is that?
Yeah.
No wonder he turned out that way.
Yeah.
Sounds like one of Gwyneth Paltrow's kids. What are her kids? What, Apple and Sardine.
Delicious.
You don't name a kid Sardine. I'm sorry. It has a special meaning. To lesbians, perhaps.
This is the kind of love and joy available on every page of Diary of a Mad Diva, Joan Rivers' new book. And this stuff is written as a diary, but did you go out and write it day by day, or did
Almost.
you? Yeah.
I would sit down again. I would get on the phone with Larry Ambrose, and he would say, "All right, you come on, think. What did you do July 4th?" And I'd say, "Well, what I did," and then I'd go from there.
Right.
So a lot of it has a little bit of truth in it.
But it is the funniest stuff, I think, with you is it goes from highbrow to lowbrow. You're very comfortable in both places.
Yeah, well, mainly lowbrow.
Yeah. But it's not like you're non-political, but
No, the only thing
Yeah.
I really am is non-political because
Yeah.
I think they're both sides are assholes.
Right.
I think there's,
yeah.
you know, Hillary Clinton. Now I met her at Lake Lickapussy, and it was like. I mean, they're all both sides are horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It is true.
It's true. I think I should run.
You would run? What do you guys think? Would you?
Number one platform, number one thing on my platform would be blind people should not be given apartments with views.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and she can't see it, and she has Central Park, and I'm looking at a brick wall. Take a look at my view. Just lie to her. Oh, wow, Amy, that's a great view. I mean, it's like... Let me ask you a question. Blind people wear glasses, sunglasses.
Yeah.
Why don't deaf people wear earmuffs?
Is there any reason for that at all? Yeah.
Don't you think that would be good? Marley Matlin? What do you think, Marley? I never go out with her unless it's a very crowded, loud restaurant.
Right.
Enjoy!
She shows up in the book quite a bit.
Yeah, Marley's in the book.
And I think it's nice that you keep her name out there. You know?
I think she should be thanked.
Yeah.
And if they read the book to her, I like her. I think she's a very nice. I've interviewed her. I liked her.
You do enjoy it. And you do how many different projects now? Because
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Thank God, Fashion Police, which is number one on.
Yeah, Fashion Police.
Is that a gift from the gods?
Yeah.
That In Bed with Joan, which is on the internet, we're doing great. And then we now have a thing called Drunk Celebrity Phone Calls we just put up last week. Where I have a glass of wine and then I call somebody and give them advice.
Give them advice. Yeah. So the internet's been good to you.
Internet's
Twitter?
been great. I love Twitter. I'm getting into Vines. I love Vines. It's so much fun.
I think that's amazing.
It's so much fun. I love it's all fun.
Every new technology you're there for.
Yeah, I'm there for.
Yeah.
Writing another book, and I'm doing a thing on Lenny Bruce's mother down at the National Theater in Washington. So just keep going, keep going, keep going. Enjoy it.
What was it about Sally that you played her before?
Sally Moore, I played it on Broadway,
Yeah.
and I was nominated for a Tony, which was great. So she was Lenny Bruce. She was, I hate to do these terms because it's so old-fashioned. She was really a woman she was the one that broke the barriers. She was the one that taught him everything he then came out and talked about. She was amazing, rough, tough, single mom, did it all, worked to the end, was there at the beginning when he was born and she had no money, and was there at the end when they gave her his things in a paper bag,
Yeah.
And she lived through it all.
So she kind of set him up in a kind of Shakespearean way.
Yeah, totally.
To live that life.
And outlived him. And the comics, I don't know if we were one of them, used to take her out. They held her up in a way. The whole group took her and kept her going till she died.
Yeah, I remember Sam Kinison was always very
I
good
loved
to her.
him. Yeah. There was another. Go listen to one of his tapes.
Right.
It's still. That's when you know they're good comics. When you turn on Sam Kinison, who's dead now for 15 years, you go, "This is wonderful."
Yeah.
Or you turn on. Who did I watch the other night? I thought, God, he's so good. W.C. Fields.
Right.
And you go,
Fields.
Yeah, the man is dead.
Yeah.
But it's hilariously funny.
Yeah.
And then you go, wow.
It is. It's stunning that can happen, that you can still look at, I don't know, Groucho Marx. I think
Marx.
one of the fastest people that ever lived.
And he, at the end, when I first moved out to California, it was over. And he would walk around a restaurant called Chasen's from table to table and tell people jokes. And you go, here he comes again. Oh, God, here he comes with the cigar and the beret. But you were gracious to him.
Yeah.
But sad that at the end,
Yeah.
you got to know when to get off the scene.
But you have...
Not me.
Not you.
That's why I'm doing Vines.
Right, that's why you're doing Vines. And I've never seen you where you didn't have just some new ideas written down.
Always.
Always you'll write stuff down on napkins or...
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
Look at this. Is this amazing?
Yeah. Everything is all jokes. Yeah, on everything. You write them on everything. Yeah.
You write them down on whatever.
Whatever you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. This is the card. Yeah. I celebrate all holidays. Even though I'm Jewish, I celebrate all holidays. At Easter, I color matzo balls.
Now, when a joke like that shows up, does it just show up for you? You're not.
Sometimes it just shows up.
Yeah.
You're talking to a friend.
Right.
And I'm always saying, wait. Let me write that down. Oh, yeah. It was so hot. This may not be funny. I farted just to get a breeze.
No.
Look at this. I got them all over here.
It's all over the place.
Not wanted. Okay, you started something now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying my mother didn't want me, but the doctor delivered me through pantyhose. So you just,
I think that's amazing.
Yes.
As long as you've been doing this, you still don't have a proper notebook. It's
it's
but you never know when this is going to come.
You don't know, and you don't, and you're always going, oh my God. They're Delta in some hotel.
Yeah.
You write them down. Well, because it's someone told me Woody writes on matchbook covers.
Yeah.
But you don't know when it's going to hit you. You should always have a pencil.
Yeah.
Because you say I'm going to remember that, and of course you don't remember it.
Right.
You move on.
but you can't do that unless you love it. You can't sit there and write that down and go out and try it on stage. I love that you even just said, I'm not sure if this is funny or not.
The audience
because
tells you.
You wait until you find out. Yeah.
And sometimes they don't laugh at what you think is going to be hilarious. And I call that kill your baby.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do it 3 times. And if 3 times they haven't laughed, you go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it was just me that thought this was hilarious about whatever, you know.
And you got to let it go.
You got to let it go.
Yeah.
It kills me.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a stupid joke from nowhere. Kim Kardashian's baby is called Northwest. It's not attractive. You take one look at Northwest and you go Southeast. So I did it in the club, and they don't want to hear baby jokes.
Right.
Ugly baby jokes, because they all have them, you know. And that's like,
that hurts a little more.
that hurts.
Yeah.
Don't you find it fascinating? People that are ugly think their child is beautiful.
Right.
And you want to say, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at your husband. Impossible. It's impossible.
It's genetic.
It's genetics.
Yeah.
You know, you how many children at 6 months have to have their back waxed? Your child is not pretty. People think, and don't send me the Christmas cards and ruin my day with that ugly family. Don't you hate? Yeah. You get a whole bowl of Christmas cards, and there are the I want to see a picture of a tree, of snow, not an ugly family all dressed alike.
The book is Diary of a Mad Diva, and it's out today. The timing isn't what you wanted.
Timing sucks, but it's great. It's such a funny book.
It is a really, really funny book, and you're an amazingly funny person, and
you're an amazingly terrific interviewer. You actually look like you're interested.
I am.
No, but you know,
I am, darling.
You know what I'm saying. A lot of them talk to you, and then
yeah. But seriously, I honestly believe that your work, and I think I know that you don't like to be called any of the nice names because you're still going. But I think that's the most amazing thing, Joan, is that you're currently the funniest, edgiest comic out there.
That makes me so happy to say that. It's so nice.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you.
Joan Rivers. God bless her. God bless her.